Duncan, lovely to see you.
Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me back on again.
Well, there'll be more invites, but
You just said there and the last one was 6 years ago.
6 years.
I can't believe that, man.
Scandalous.
6 years ago.
That's hard.
Where does it go, mate? You're looking well now anyway, Paul.
Okay, not as good as you, but it's all good. It's all good. The book, you've got a book out. Why not? Why have you chosen now?
Because I was getting older. You worry about people forget your story. I start to forget the story. We already did, mate.
Yeah.
It's been years. I'm 50, in my 50s now, so I thought, you know what? I'll tell the story. There seemed to be an interest in it. There's a lot of people early years were saying, come and write a book. Because I was close a few times, but to be honest with you, Baz, I always thought that if I did a book, it would damage me.
Okay.
I was worried sick in case I did the book and it was going to damage me in my managerial career as I went on. You don't want to be digging up all the past all the time. And I was worried. But in the end, I thought, you know what, I'll do it. And that's what I did it. And to be honest, the money was right as well. So that's one of the reasons why I did it.
Always honest, always honest.
Well, that's it, that's it. It wasn't the right day for nothing, was there?
No.
But I wanted to tell the story. To be fair, 'cause I think there's a story there.
Recapping the stuff and obviously going back over it, was it bringing up different emotions about your career? Because you just said there, it is easy. Like when we've just been talking, it's 6 years since we sat down together and had a good chat on a camera, but did it bring up sort of memories and then stoke up those memories?
Absolutely, it does, doesn't it? Because and you see it done on a piece of paper. It's like, it was frightening. What I'd said, what I'd said to Henry, and he'd put it down into a manuscript, and then I'm reading it. I'm not kidding you, it frightened me. Frightened me. I was so I was worried sick about doing the book, but you know, I was honest, and then the book, and you know, but it was a wee bit scary, you know, doing it like.
I've heard you talk about Scotland, because obviously that was something that's come up in the book. I've seen you on a couple of brilliant appearances on other podcasts.
Not as good as this one, lad. I've saved the best till last.
But you were talking about, 7 caps for Scotland, which was scandalous considering the player of your ability. But when you look back, is that, because obviously you are looking back at it and going, regrets or whatever, is that a regret or just
massive for me? But it's massive. I mean, you look at, not being big-headed, but I should have played hundreds of times for Scotland. I made my debut when I was 20, I think. I was the youngest player in the Euros in 1992 when I come on against that Holland team and had Van Basten and Ruud Gullit, Ronald Koeman, Bergkamp scored the winner, I think, only beat us 1-0. Rijkaard was there, so I was 20, I was the youngest player in the tournament. That was one of my caps. I thought it would never end, you know. But you never know what's in the corner, lad, do you? No. Massive regret not playing.
Yeah. You should have had tons of caps, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Well, at the end of the day, they asked me when I was 20-year-old, and they asked me up until I was 34 to play. Ali McCoy's phoned the house one night when the great man, God bless him, Walter Smith was in charge. 10 o'clock at night, the phone rings. I says, "Oh, who's this?" No, nobody phoned my house. Ali was brave enough to pick up the phone and phone me. And I was 34 at the time, so it's 14 years. I could have been playing for my country.
Yeah,
you've been a lot of caps, man.
Definitely. Can I talk to you about, first of all, the book itself? Is there any stories in there that we haven't heard? And could you have wrote a book with all the stuff you've cut out of it? Because obviously...
Oh my God, mate.
Duncan, the side story.
I could have wrote 5 books, but there's a lot of great stories in there. Yeah. Some stories you've been hearing probably the last few days, but there's a lot of stories in there nobody's heard. It's an honest book. It's a book when I was a wee boy coming up in St. Ives and Stirling, all the way through my life and my career, really. Obviously, it's a big part of that was in Scotland, but obviously the biggest part was at Everton, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
So there's plenty of stories about the Blues in there.
Good lad. When you come to Everton, how long was it before you thought, because obviously you come down on loan, didn't you, but how long before you thought, I wouldn't mind staying here?
First time I staggered at a boozer, I think. On Matthew Street. I thought, you know what, this is a nice place, this, isn't it?
This is all right.
And not to do with the football.
Matthew Street was good,
the best league of women in England and Liverpool, weren't they? So like that was part of the city. I loved the city. I love being round about it. Obviously, once I come and play for the club, and I just loved it. You know, I mean, I think the team needed somebody like me. I think historically they had somebody like me, and maybe at that time they never. Were going through a difficult period, weren't they? I think the attendances were doing like 16,000, 18,000. I remember the time when there was 16,000 or 18,000 in the ground. Do you know what I mean? Which you'll remember.
Yeah. Oh, good.
In the late 80s, early 90s. We had the great teams in the 80s, and there was a dip, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And weren't they very good? And I come in about, I come 94. I think then the team needed somebody like me. I think the fans were desperate to cling on to somebody, weren't they?
Just a bit. Big season as well, that obviously first goal against Liverpool at the Gladys Street end after probably not the best preparation for the derby at that time from yourself. You've talked about that, you won't go into it, but what was that feeling like scoring at the Gladys Street and wheeling away your first goal?
Special, isn't it? It's just special. You know, gets the fans on board with you, guys. You know, you can play this boy, you know what I mean? Yeah. And of course, playing against Liverpool, beating your old enemy, we were at the bottom of the league at the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
they were at the top of the league. Sometimes there's some change, lad, did it? But it was a big moment for me, getting the fans with me, and we won it. We got the 3 points. We're fighting relegation. Big Joe's first game, as you know, and it set us on a great run. Big Joe went on and won. He went to Stamford Bridge and won the next game. I mean,
they haven't won there since.
I know, we've not won since that game.
That game?
I bloody knew that, you know.
31
that.
years.
I thought 96 was another one, but that was a draw. I think 96 must have been a draw. So that game was the last time that we won at Stamford Bridge in 94.
94.
So we beat Liverpool at home, we go to Stamford Bridge, we beat Chelsea, and then we played Leeds, who were a decent team at the time, and we played them at home and beat them. And that was Big Joe's first 3 games. But of course, scoring your first goal against Liverpool, people always remember that, and I remember it. Big games, big goals.
I mean, it was a huge season. You scored the winner against United with the top off, showed us all your six-pack.
Absolutely. That's it. I don't know if I had a six-pack. I've done plenty of six-packs, that's for sure.
And then won the FA Cup, of course, that season as well, your first season. So you were a lucky charm, big lucky charm.
Yeah, managed to get a few goals. As again, at Man United, you know what I mean, when I took my top off, and it was a winner, wasn't it? 1-0. It's always nice to score 1-0 in the victory when you scored the winner. It was actually my mum and dad's anniversary, and it was another night in Matthew Street, believe it or not. I just bought my...
Your mum and dad were on Matthew Street,
yeah, we went to the Casa Italia.
Nice.
And there, and had a big firmers. And I just bought my dad a blue Scorpio Granada.
Nice.
Beautiful blue one. Of course, it was blue, black leather interior. It was gorgeous. It was a beautiful car, and I bought it for them for their anniversary. So in the morning of the Man United game, I was presenting them with this car, and the number plate was Fergie, FRG, 1E or something on it, whatever it was. I can't remember the number plate, but it was a number. My dad still got the number plate to this day on a car. The blue Scorpio is well gone. It's on a BMW now, but we had to strap it this private number plate. It cost me a right few quid, you know what I mean? I put it on the car and I presented it to them in the morning of the game. We lost in the game, we beat them 1-0. I scored the winner, but in Massachusetts. You can imagine, couldn't you? Great night, great times, mate. And then we only won the cup right through. I was a social organiser, organising all the night shoot in Matthew Street. You must have been there. Must have let you in there sometime. Pet must have got in there.
I spent enough time looking for you.
I would.
Yeah.
You were a child, weren't you? You were, what age were you? How old were you been?
I was 16.
I should have got in.
It's not going to stop you, is it? Not going to stop you going in a nightclub then.
The retro bar.
The retro was the place to be, wasn't it?
That was the place to be.
It was the size of... It used to totally be room, wasn't it? But we used to jam in there.
Yeah.
It was great. Of course, we went on that cup run. It was great times to be in the city. The Beatles festivals, I remember, in Matthew Street, we used to pull the chairs out, the tables, the Casa Italia, and we put the tables right in the cobble streets, you know, and we'd all be sitting there, eating food, and the music would be going on, and people would all be enjoying themselves. It was just wonderful, never any trouble at all. It's fantastic times, mate. And who'd ever thought we'd never won a FA Cup, man?
That's what I mean. No trophies since. Maybe get you back up front. How hard was it leaving Everton to Newcastle?
Tough. I think it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't easy for anybody at the time. The club, their spiel to me was that they needed £8 million for the banks. How true that is, I do not know.
Yeah.
That's what they said to me. It seemed plausible at the time. I was the most sellable asset, and you know, so that was it. Really, it happened very quickly. Very quickly. You know, a few days. Maybe a day before that, the agent was phoning me and I'm thinking, well, Newcastle, you know, which they were a great club, like, but I loved Everton. So that was a spiel. They wanted a few quid. So I made the move, you know.
How easy was it to come back then?
It was easy to come back. I mean, it was really, you know, I wanted to come back in a way. I liked it in Newcastle, don't get me wrong. I think Newcastle was a good club, they're good people, good fans. My missus could be settled, but you know what Scousers are like? They go across that water, man, they think on holiday. Do you know what I mean? You know, they're close to their mums, aren't they?
Yeah.
Scousers are dead close to their mums. And had a wee baby, she wanted to come back as well. And so I came back and I walked away from my contract in Newcastle, getting fortunes up there, a lot of money. I had 3-4 years left of my deal, millions left there. Walked away from it, come back for half the bat, more or less. Still got good money, don't get me wrong, it was about 20 odd grand. It was still good, but I was getting a lot more of that in Newcastle, and I walked away from it to come back.
When did you first think about coaching? Was it when you finished? We think about.
I think when I was a player, I always thought about management. Right, so back then I didn't think about coaching, none of us did. I don't think anybody thought about coaching. It wasn't a big major thing. You knew your manager, you didn't really know the coaches as such. I never anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they put the coach doing whatever they did. I focused on my manager.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, it's the modern day football news is all about the manager now, isn't it? It's not all about the manager. The manager doesn't win the games of football, you know that, do you, Buzz? Managers don't win games of football.
No.
Football players win games of football. I've been a manager. So, but of course, you want to play for your manager. So the coaching not so much. I just thought it could say the management. That's what you're thinking about in your mind. But I developed the coaching as I went along, you know, full passion for it.
Yeah.
Come back into Finch Farm and doing my graft, you know, doing my apprenticeship, you know, as you've got to do in all walks of life. You've got to do your apprenticeship, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like? Because we just talked about it before we started because of the interview. That was 2-3 weeks before I went to match and you were stood on the side in a suit as our manager against Chelsea. What was that moment like for you walking out to Goodison?
Special.
You're the manager.
It never happened to me before, obviously, so I played, didn't I? So once you scored a goal, you get another goal, you're all right. You know what's coming, didn't you? But when you're the manager, you've no idea. We're fighting relegation again.
Yeah.
We're both in the league. Chelsea were flying. I was only getting one game, Baz.
Yeah.
I was told, 1-0, this is your game, you're not getting another one. You're taking one game. So I thought, well, this is it. And honestly, the hassle I had on for things like you've not to wear your suit. Do not put that suit on, right? So I'm thinking about tactics. I'm thinking about my team selection. I'm going on the bus. I'm pumped up, and all you're hearing is, "Do not wear that suit. Do not wear that suit. You wear your tracksuit. You're only managing for one game, and the new manager's coming in." So this is getting told to me before the game. Right, so I'm coming off the bus, and there's people at the bus stop, at the bottom of the steps at the bus going, "Don't put that suit on, don't put that suit on."
Who's saying this? You don't want to say?
No, I do. I can't remember their bloody names. You know, the news people, the board.
Oh, okay.
The board were telling me not to wear the suit. Of course, with the sporting director then, do you know what I mean? He had a nice suit on, didn't he? He liked dressing well, didn't he, that boy? But I wasn't to wear my suit.
Right, okay.
And so I was panicking. So you're worried about everything, and all of a sudden I went, okay, I'm good. It's one game. I've got one game. Nobody's expecting us to win as such. Our fans were, but nobody else was. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to get fucking chased to the back door here. And we get pumped 5-0 here. Who's going to support me? Only used to. There's only be used to be supporting me. You know what I mean? But we need people supporting you. Because I had a good run as a coach. I'd been there for a long time. You know what it's like? You're there for a long time. You know, let's get ready, I'm Duncan. You know what it's like? You've been there and you've been coaching. That's his fault. It's my fault. Why we're not losing a game. So anyway, why we're not winning a game. It's my fault why we're losing, you know. Even though I'm just a low coach, so I'm not getting involved after bloody managers. So the big suit was a big one for me. And I put it on anyway. And I worked a treat at that. So I was going to the gallows, lad. I needed to be dressed. I needed to be dressed, lad, didn't I?
You look sharp. The ball boys appreciate it.
But of course then, when I win the game, I win the game, the team won the game, the fans won the game. The fans were just incredible that day. I know we're going about, you know, wonderful atmosphere at Goodison. That's going to be up there for me. Not because of the noise, the emotion, but so many people behind me want us to win. And the players went out there, my God, they run their socks off. They tackled everything. They absolutely smashed it.
They hadn't lost the way until that day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then I'm, obviously, as I say to you, getting beat. I'm getting pushed at the back door, and the new manager's coming in. Now, we win the game, right? So the new manager must have stuck his car in reverse. You know what I mean? Or the board did.
Yeah.
I probably may like the board. Wait a minute, we're onto something here. We can't change them. We can't change them now.
Yeah.
So I got a stay of execution for another game, didn't I?
For another couple, didn't
Do you know what Brien paid? Honestly, see the minute they said to me, "You're getting another game, right? You're getting another week." All right, it's all right. Aye. What were you paying your previous manager? I said to him, "You paying it? I went in for a kill, mate."
Did you?
I saw my chance. This is my chance there, right? Because I'm not getting paid. I'm just getting away. I'm getting my wage. Whatever my wage was, it wouldn't have been a lot. And I went up to him and I went and asked the sporting director. I said, he says, we're thinking. He says, I think you can continue for another game. I said, so I'm getting another game, am I? He went, aye. I says, all right. You pay your manager. You pay your previous manager. I was stopping up. What do you mean? I said, well, if I'm going to be your manager, I'm wanting paid. I want paid as the manager's getting paid. If you want me to take the next game, it's only fair in my book. So he scuttled away. What could he do? What could he do about it? We just beat Chelsea 3-1, hadn't we? We're just got to the bottom three. Obviously, they're not brought to bring the new manager in because the manager wants to come in a negative result. Probably he doesn't want to follow that, does he?
And we had United away.
Of course, they're getting United away, and they knew that. Plus, the board are thinking, wait, let's run with this. So I managed to get my wages increased substantially over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
For a couple of games.
It still keep me going now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that wee stint as I did as a manager.
Obviously, you've had a couple of managerial jobs since leaving Everton. Both crazy difficult from the outside. You've been on the inside. I'm sure you touch on it in the book, but I mean,
I know a wee bit.
Both difficult for different reasons. Which was the harder of the two, do you think?
The Forest Green job was unwinnable. Right, Dynamo could not have kept him up. Right, I'd say the younger ones will know Dynamo. I knew Paul Daniels, you know what I mean? I was Paul Daniels, a magician, would not have kept him up. Right, they'd played 4 extra games, then the teams ran about us. There were 5 points caught adrift. It was end of January. It was unwinnable, unsavable. I mean, no impossible, right? Maybe not impossible, absolutely very near impossible. Yeah. I was going there for the future. I was going there for a rebuild. And you know what happens if football make promises, right? Yeah. And you couldn't have won with them. The team was poor. It wasn't my team. No. Somebody else's team. It's like it's like passing a big stick of dynamite, lad, right? Or a big bucket of shite. Whatever you want to pass round, right? Pass it round, right? Pass the stick of dynamite round. And I got handed this. I got one that got caught in it. Right? The dynamite blows up. You don't remember the guy that passes it to you. No. You don't remember. Right? I don't even know the new manager, who the previous manager was. It was his team. I went in there, I brought in one player for Everton who was the best player, Tyler Oranango, I think his name, I can't remember his name. Oranango. He was the best player, pulled his thigh. Anyway, I couldn't have done that well. I was promised a rebuild, it never happened. Promises in football, mate. Soon go out the window when you don't get a result. So, you know, and for me, for being managing Everton, Premier League, gone to League One, they bought me League One. Honestly, Christ, I must have needed my head read. But I did it because I liked the fella. I liked the owner, and I'm a kind of people's guy. If I like you, I'll do anything for you. Yeah. And I liked him, but he let me do. I probably, obviously the results weren't there. They weren't there anyway, but they weren't there. They're never going to be there. They're going to relegate to the next division, Baz. Yeah. Jesus Christ, went down the next year. Yeah, he does. Yeah. I went for Dale Vince. I went for him, and if somebody got in his ear, as they do, people next year manager gets in your ear. Next year, boss starts pouring the poison down the ear, and there become an agreement really that I was going to move on. I actually pushed it to begin with, because they were going down a different route with a sporting director. The players I wanted to bring in, they didn't want to sign stupidly. Imagine no want to sign a player I've recommended. It's crazy. Yeah. No, it's like there's somebody else. It's nuts, honestly, Christ. But that's what teams do, that's what clubs do. Clubs listen to people, lads who have done nothing. Done nothing, got no CV, got no background, but they listen to them. Crazy. And then Inverness one was... no money. That was the same again, bought me league. So before everybody starts jumping on, Forest Game, I bought me league, right? Everton were in the bottom three. I took them out the bottom three. Forest Green were in the bottom, and I couldn't move them anywhere. Useless. And Inverness were bottom of the league. Bottom.
Yeah.
1 draw, 9 games, 6 league games, 3 cup games, 1 draw, no clean sheets. 1 draw. I moved us up the league, 19 points above the drop. When I found us in the relegation spot, automatically, I moved us 19 points above that. My points return put us 5th in the league. 5th in the league with the team that I had. So I made a massive improvement. Just wasn't enough. Referee made a bad decision in a playoff final. He should have sent the boy off, he never. And he gave away a penalty. And a whole story, a bit of bad luck.
Looking to get back in?
Desperate. Yeah. I think I've got a lot to offer, Baz. I've done a lot of hard work to get where I got to. And I've just made a stupid move.
Yeah.
I've all done stupid things, haven't I? And I've done plenty. Yeah. But taking the Forest Green job and that what happened there to me was tough. Got to Inverness, I think I've done a very good job up there. And to lose it through administration.
Yeah.
I'm having quite bad luck, not me, but administration, man. God, I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you?
Yeah.
It's not easy. I want to get back in, well, you know.
What about punditry? You're doing really well on the
getting
punditry.
better.
You're enjoying it a bit more.
I'm getting better.
I think you need to be a bit more biased towards Everton when you're on. You're still a little bit neutral, be a little bit. Go full.
Well, I was on the Sky, wasn't I? I was on that Sky the other week there, and I think it was Tarkovsky's challenge, wasn't it? Obviously, you'd think it wasn't a red card, which is fair enough, you know what I mean?
I know, I thought it was a red, to be fair.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I think, I love the Blues, then. I've went back and I've watched them a few times and I've commented a few times. Again, results just now and then. And I like to, personally me, I'd like to see a little more possession, but to be honest,
yeah.
I like to see any team. I like to see teams pass the ball and keep the ball in that. I like to see maybe Everton go a bit more like that a wee bit.
Yeah.
It's all about results, isn't it? And Moisey's got results, I suppose, so everybody's happy.
Goodison, obviously, forget about the goals and stuff, which is hard to do, but what will be the thing you miss when we leave Goodison? Is there anything? Is it just being in that dressing room? Is it the corridors? Is it?
I don't think about that, you know. Like, I only think about it. I've never thought about that. My main focus is on the fans, really, but you know.
Like, yeah.
And what I think they think. You know, do you got your game with your dad?
Yeah. I'm my lad.
Did that still with? So, Ped, do you got the game with your family? So you've all got the game with your families. He's probably, a big percentage of your fans are running about the stadium, aren't they? And you walk to the game with your family. I think that's massive for the club. And of course, a lot of people have lost their families, lost their dad, lost their mum, and not a lot of their memories are going to get with their mum or their dad, or a sister or a brother. You know, so I think about them. They're going to lose now.
Yeah.
I mean, I put on the side note, I put quite a few ashes on that pitch.
Yeah.
And been to quite a few ceremonies, you know what I mean? And it's all going to go. Really sad. Actually bring a wee bit of tear in your eye. Like, I think, that's what I think. It's your life going to the game with your mum, your dad. Some mums and dads aren't here now. And I think the fans will lose it a lot of that. It probably's not quite hit home yet. It will do in the last game of the season. Because we're going to get a new stadium. It's new, it's shiny, hand-lit. Lovely stadium. It's just really, I mean, about the memory.
Yeah.
For me, it's more about, Everton's more about the family, more about the people, more about the memories that they've created that are in that stadium.
Yeah.
You know, you sit with your dad and you get your programme and that and whatever. That's what I think about it. Like, that'll come.
Yeah.
As the new generation goes along,
of course,
you'll start taking your lad to the games down there and that and whatever you're doing or your family, and that'll build up over years and years and years. I've got no real connection to a new stadium, so it's just near of you, near as Ped, near as any of us.
Yeah.
It's a fresh start for us all, but very sad indeed to be leaving our spiritual home.
Right, just quick violence to finish. Favourite Everton kit you wore?
I don't know. Won the cup with the Duncan. That was a fight.
Yeah.
Must be that. We'll just say that one.
Won the trophy.
We'll say that one.
Favourite Everton goal?
My favourite one was the first one because I remember, obviously it's the first one against Liverpool. I had a wee bit of No, not an easy build-up to the game, let's say. And the first one, I'll say the first one. It wasn't my best one, but it's my most memorable one, let's say.
Toughest opponent?
Big Sammy Hippie, I'll say for Liverpool, I've said it quite a few times. Big Sammy, why no? He's as big as me, he's as good as in the air. And, I'd say him, and he was a good player, very good player.
Yeah. And obviously, I've just sort of talked about it, but the favourite moments in an Everton shirt, then is it the cup final being there, the blue nose on, or is it a different one? Is it a different?
There's definitely that, because obviously it's easy to say that, and we won a trophy and had the blue nose on.
Yeah.
But I will say to you, when the great man Howard Kendall, God bless him, made me captain of Everton Football Club, and then led us in that relegation fight in that season, and got out and scored a hat-trick against Bolton that day, it didn't have made me proud. It made me proud, lad. Proud to be in front of the fans and digging us out that hole, and then proud that Howard saw something in there that no many people did. And that was a massive difference as that year they'd been relegated if he hadn't made that decision. So, that was a great moment.
Last one. Best, I think I know the answer, but best Everton manager you worked under as a coach?
I was like, well, it's easy to say Carlo, innit?
That's who I thought you were going to be. Given he's done the forwards.
It's just easy, innit?
Yeah.
It's just easy because he's won everything, and he is obviously statistically he is the best manager. He is the best. He was calm. He was cool. I got on well with him. He never paid a bill. He never paid a bill. He's definitely like King Carlo. You never see the king with any money there. So. But you see, you'd have to be Carlo because he was such great. But there's other friends. Big Sam Allardyce was fantastic what he did. He's come in there and he galvanised the team, pushes up the league. You've got Roberto Martinez tactically is always very, very good, and his training sessions were always good. And I learnt a lot for that because I was first up to the first team with Roberto. Yeah. So I learnt a hell of a lot for him, how he set drills up. Yeah. Because the detail that would go into
right.
Him and his assistants, and that put me in good stead with my other managers. Once I'd went through that, I could handle it. I could handle every manager that came in. It's like anything in your job. If you're working and your manager's changing, your boss is changing, you're fucking shite yourself. You're worried sick at the end of the day. You're losing your job, or you can't do your job, or he thinks that you're going to be crap. But under Roberto, that put me in good stead for all my managers coming in. And Ronald Koeman, God almighty, Ronald. I love Ronald. I thought Ronald was a tremendous coach. Back then, coming 7th in the league was not good enough. It's not good enough. So everybody turns around and says, all the managers were crap or wasn't very good. No. The managers weren't crap. Right? So Marco Silva, who finished 8th, wasn't crap. Right? Ronald Koeman, who finished 7th, I think, or whatever it was.
7th.
Right? And Big Sam finished 8th. And there was other ones. But that wasn't good enough for us then. And that because we wanted to be in the Champions League because we'd put so much money in. So there were good managers, just unfortunately pulled the trigger and some of them too quickly.
Duncan, thank you very much for your time. Go and buy the book. Yeah. Simple as that. Called Big Dunk. It's available now. Go and get it.